Hey guys, just very sorry, there was a little bit of a technical issue. Unfortunately, the lobby was put on the wrong map, so we have to just quickly re-host the game, so we'll be throwing to a little
Welcome
bit
to
of a break.
Submarine's Rift, guys.
We are unfortunately on the Rift, which is not intentional.
hmm
Very sorry. We'll be back
That's
in,
an honest mistake. Yep.
yeah, we'll be back in like a minute or so. Hopefully it's the same draft. If it's not, we'll let you know. Sorry guys, see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting a new draft here because of the mistake. So let's have a look at this one. On the blue side, it is Quinn, Nami, the cursed Amumu, Corky, and Heimerdinger. On the red side, Rakan, Kha'Zix, Nidalee, Yorick, and Ezreal. Much more balanced this time, I think. No 480 carries. What do we think about these ones?
Well, you completely killed my point from before. Like, we're never ever going to see that point ever again.
Nope,
So
it's dead. It didn't
just
happen.
wanted to bring that up.
Gone. Reduced to atoms.
Gone. Yep. Right, anyway. Regarding these compositions, obviously, they're both more balanced, 180 carry per side, no hyper carry this time. Interestingly enough, this is the third draft in a row we're going to see Huna on an ADC. First, initially was on the Twitch, then we did see her on the Jinx. Now it's on the Ezreal. Has already shown to be able to play AD carries very, very well. Ezreal now on a safer AD carry should not have too much of an issue doing so. But if we take a look on the other team, we do have a few more ways, especially with the Amumu, to lock down the ADC.
Yeah, that Amumu seems very, very strong to me. That ult being able to get across most of the enemy team is going to make it very hard for Rakan or Kha'Zix to get his job done. Of course, we do have a Heimerdinger as well. Potentially could be a menace here on the bridge with those turrets. Very difficult to walk up, get much of anything done. Overall, I think both of these comps are very, very strong. It's hard to call this one.
Yeah, it's a very tough matchup to call. One thing I will point out, though, is this is a small sample size, so please excuse me. Amumu is currently the 5th highest win rate ARAM champion, sitting currently at 56%. No real question as to why. That ultimate being very high impact, especially in the small area that you do have to play in the Howling Abyss.
Yeah, you're pretty much always going to get 5-man ults on Howling Abyss. Particularly if you go, you could play it very risky, go a bit more of an AP Amumu and just go for those that massive AoE damage. I actually don't think that's a bad idea.
I'm not sure if it's a good idea though currently, because you don't have much of a tank on the blue side. So I think going for the tank option right now is actually the best call. You do have enough damage to back you up anyway. If you go in from the Quinn and the Corki, you do have the backup coming in from the Nami as well, and Heimerdinger is always there as a bit more of a defensive option. On the other side though, you have a bit of an interesting mix. You got Kha'Zix, Nidalee. Nidalee definitely you can try to go for those snipes. I'm not sure if Kha'Zix is going to be as effective as he normally is on the Rift. And Rakan, Yorick, we've already talked about Yorick, not really that useful here on the Howling Abyss. Rakan definitely a bit more of a supportive option. Doesn't really mesh that well with the Ezreal, but isn't a bad choice. But isn't a bad choice in of itself.
No, of course. Rakan going in with the Kha'Zix can definitely have potential here. We'll be back in just a little bit, and we'll talk more about these comps, and we'll see how they play out. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back in no time at all. I'm excited for this last game. I think it's going to be great.
It'll be a banger.
Welcome back, everybody. For the final game here, we are finally on the Abyss to see which team will take it out and who will be the champions in the end. Of course, it is individually scored. I just want to point out, I love the new icons to give you the trail. Just putting it out there. Favorite?
All right. Thank you, Riot.
I think it's great. Riot says trans pride. It's good.
Yeah, it's better than some ways different companies try to get engaged with the community.
Yeah, like when Nintendo...
But anyway.
Yeah, anyway, let's just move straight on. Let's power on.
Right, okay. Ezreal with Conqueror.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's interesting.
No, that makes sense. That's pretty standard.
Makes sense? Oh, right, sorry. They removed the Keystone ages ago, and for some reason I forgot
Klepto.
about it. So
Yeah, Klepto hasn't been in the game for a long time, and
yep.
I have not missed it
Just a
even
mental
once.
boom.
I hated that Keystone.
Right.
All of its use. So I'm very glad that it's gone. Klepto
Right, I think we just the short break has sort of just made our minds wander. It's
a
not
little
exactly
bit, but there's
a
nothing
little bit.
happening.
Yeah, just gotta get right back into it.
Yeah, there's nothing happening yet, as it is just going to be the early ARAM farming fest, and they're just ping-ponging waves back and forth, waiting for someone to do something. And the thing is, neither team has the impetus to do anything.
Yeah, it looks like they're all just sort of playing safe. And Italy has been going for some spears. You can see that she's already being able to chunk down different blue team champions for quite a bit.
Ooh, and there's the engage. Rakan flying forward, but just hops straight back out. A bit of damage
you're definitely ahead of me a bit. Let me just speed up.
This time
I got it. Cool.
Yep. Stuff, you got this. So,
right.
The other thing to note here is the red team's got a lot of healing. With a Nidalee, and I mean, a Rakan doesn't heal very much, but he does heal. And Yorick as well, with those shovel smacks, will heal himself back up. It's very hard to poke them out.
Yep. Oh, I'm buffering again. Oh boy.
Oh boy. As we do have another little engage by the Rakan, but it is just hopping in and out. He can just do that with pretty much impunity. Just wait a second. Oh, he's gone over to try and shield the Yorick. Takes a whole lot of damage for it. Goes down to 30 HP, but the first blood has been claimed, as has the second. Reverie and Rogues only will be going to the Death Chamber. As it is a good start here for the red side, and they have early priority.
I would like to point out I am now 10 seconds ahead of you. I've seen that first blood ages ago. They're now pushing
may want to pause.
The turret.
Yeah, I have
to pause right now.
If you pause at 3:10...
I'm on 3:02.
Okay. Oh, okay. Pause at 3:10. I'll tell you when I get. Sorry about this, everyone. This is just what we have to do.
It's a bit of a bootleg setup.
So I'm at 10.
I'm 3:10 right now.
Yeah. I'm also at 10. We're synced. We're
fine. Okay. Now we're synced. Cool.
Cool. As just those first 2 kills, no real big result out of that. They weren't able to get any tower damage, really. It is just an early injection of gold. But of course, they can't spend that gold.
Yeah, getting it on the Kazakhs though, because if the Kazakhs doesn't really get ahead early on, it's just going to be a very, very useless cockroach. So giving him the kill early on could actually bode pretty well if they are able to continue this snowball and get the Kazakhs relatively ahead of the blue team.
Yeah, I think that's very, very true. If that Kazakhs is ahead, he is an absolute menace, but because very correct from behind. That's just a bit of a sad bug.
Yeah, especially now that because you're playing ARAM, it's very, very difficult for you to get the isolation damage. So you need as much of an advantage as
Here's the engage, though. The Amumu ult has landed into the Nami wave. This is a lot of damage being dealt by the blue team. Quinn has already picked up 1 kill. Can they find this Rakan? I don't think so. He gets away. So it's only 1 kill there. Looked like it could have been a lot more. The red team managing to disengage very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. But now we do have low health bars on the red side. Blue team that can now just continue pushing in towards that tier 1 turret, get some damage down. There's not much that red can really do without losing more health and in turn losing their lives, basically.
Yeah.
If they try to stop the push coming in from blue.
Yeah, for sure. But of course, Yorick does have his Maiden of the Mist out, so he is a very big 1v1 threat at the moment. You can't dive in onto him. He will dig a grave for you. Another little suspension. Build the suspense of the game, and here we are. Rakan is just unable to get up to a decent health total at the moment. It's just a constant amount of damage being thrown. It's become very, very low, in fact.
Yeah, and props over to blue, because that's exactly what they need to do. If you take a look at the entirety of the red roster, aside from Kazakhs jumping in, Rakan is the only main engage that is effective if they want to look for a fight. And when Rakan is always this low, there is just simply no threat of such an engage coming in from red and blue. They're just pretty happy just sitting back and farming right now.
It's true. And I know all about a very upset Rakan. Can't hear him in
you
the
can
background.
hear him right now.
Oh, you can hear him. It is picking up.
I can hear him, yeah.
There you go. That is my bird
He is
named
one
Rakan.
loud boy.
He's very upset because he's in his timeout cage. Let's hope that the Rakan on the Rift isn't going to be in his timeout cage.
Haha. Haha.
See if he can get some free flight.
Does have some decent health now, though.
Yeah, he's gotten the back up a little bit. There was a health relic and the Nidalee heals, as well as some of his own healing from the Q, but that is pretty insignificant.
It's pretty minimal right now, to say the least. He's gonna step up. Oh, got himself the heal. Woohoo! He was like 10 health.
Oh, and there is another engage. A lot of damage in the True Shot Barrage.
Oh, nice.
We'll make sure that the Corki goes down. Kha'Zix dives forward, picks up another one, and Amumu tries to go for the turn, but this is Kha'Zix ripping them up. Hashijo doing so much damage, and this is going to be an absolute wipeout as everyone on the Rift is dying. It's going to come down to a 9-kill team fight, as only Mr. Yorick will live. Wow.
Wow, absolutely. Excusing that last spaghetti, wet noodle fight between the Yorick and the Amumu, everybody else did quite a bit of work, literally on the red team, definitely stepping in and cleaning up with one spear and jumping in under the turret to clean up. 2 kills, allowing for red team to basically win that fight.
Yeah, it was, I mean, they only barely won it. It was a 5-for-4. So it's a rough one. That was very explosive. If that is how the fights are going to work, this is going to be a very, very hard game to call.
It is already a very hard game to call at the moment. We do have to look at where the kills are going, though. Right now, you can see that most of the kills on red team are, in fact, on the Kha'Zix, which once again is a rather good thing in my opinion. Meanwhile, on the blue team, it's actually a bit more spread out. Unfortunately, 2 of those kills are currently on the Amumu, which right now should be going tank. So he's not really going to be making full use of the gold that he's getting, aside from being a little harder to kill.
Well,
which I think is a little unfortunate.
He is going a little bit of AP, as he has picked up the Rod of Ages. Now, of course, that does have some tank stats on it, but it is definitely not something like a Sunfire Cape. So the Amumu has damage in mind. And also, as well, Ezreal going AP, as that is the makings of a Ludens.
It does look like that right now with stacking up the mana immune is not going to be all that effective until the mirror mana comes through, building up a bit of a hybrid sort of build right here. Not the worst thing in the world, I believe. If we did briefly swap over to gold right now, and with the 42 CS that the Ezreal currently has, is now sitting on, I want to call it about 5,700 gold, which is actually the highest amongst everybody in the game. So even though not coming in with all the stats, I think if she is able to continue.
As the Nidalee Spear has landed, and Mr. Heimerdinger is going to the grave. Now, I don't play enough ARAM. What is that second item in Quinn's inventory?
That is axe is a starting item. It's not going to have too much of an impact. I believe it helps with attack damage and I want to say cooldown reduction. I don't play much ARAM either, so I'm
okay. Well, that makes sense for Quinn. AD and cooldown reduction is pretty much what she wants. Now, this Quinn it's not going to be an easy life for her. It is an ADC, sort of, but very short wave. And here's the huge Rakan ult, hitting that charm onto 3. So far, it's a 1-for-1. The Amumu ult was used pretty much just to buy space. This is a very, very scrappy fight, but with the health bars being very low on the red side. Oh no, never mind. I tell a lie as the Ezreal diving back in, trying to do as much as possible. Can they get onto this Heimerdinger? Not quite. 3 for 3.
That Rakan ult and the Ezreal ult and the Nidalee Spear, I think they just caught them off guard. One, I believe, I'm not sure who died first, but basically was on 75% health, got hit by the Rakan ultimate, got hit by the Ezreal ultimate, then got hit by the Nidalee Spear, just got completely chunked, 75% health to 0 in a matter of moments. Really helped turn that fight into a 4v5 and resulted in a favorable outcome for red team.
Absolutely, but it was also fantastic play there by Huna, really ducking and diving around the fight on the Ezreal, smashing those Mystic shots in, dealing a really disgusting amount of damage. Of course,
Huna is a great AD carry player.
Yeah, she absolutely.
Let's just call it now.
She has been fantastic on the ADCs and is very fortunate for her team that she keeps rolling them. I mean, you can say it's a bit of luck, but hey, we're playing ARAMs. There's definitely luck as a factor. And you've got to execute when you've got them, and she absolutely has. So, does need to die at some point, though. With a lot of farm and a couple of kills, she does want to die.
Yep, definitely. We are now resorting to a bit of a lull state. I think we haven't seen, this game hasn't been as action-packed as the previous few. We're currently 11 minutes into the game. We haven't seen all that many major fights going through. I think both teams are currently just happy with the wave clear. But right now, if we continue with this wave clear, I think the advantage will begin to stack in favor of the red team, especially with the Ezreal Mirror Mana now fully charged up.
Yeah,
is now in a much better state to be looking for these fights.
Absolutely, and there is the engage. The snowball landed, the Amumu ult followed. There's a Nami wave, but is the damage going to be enough? The True Shot Barrage doing a lot. The backline has not died here for the red team. Some of their front line has. Can they get something on the back of this, or will it just be a 2-for-0? I think it will be. Oops, sorry, someone's at my door. I'll be right back.
Alright, have fun with that. I guess I'm solo casting for now. Please come back soon. Nidalee Spear is going to miss on the Heimerdinger. They actually put down the turret, but it's going to be taken out. So that is one cooldown that is not going to be available for the blue side for the next few seconds at least. Still in a bit of a lull state. You do see that we have a few low health bars on the side of blue, not exactly in the best of states to be looking for a fight. Red looking like they don't really want to engage, and I guess that's fair. You have the Ezreal, which is more than happy to just chill and dish out damage from afar. Nobody else to really facilitate any sort of engage. But you can see on the flank right now, Rakan is looking for something. We'll just back away for now as blue team continue to clear the wave.
Sorry about that. My neighbor needed help with something. Have I missed anything important?
No, we didn't really have any fights. I think we all what we saw was red team just fully respawning and returning to what they were doing before. But as soon as you come back,
well, that was very much rogue only saying, "Ooh, I have enough gold for an item. Be right back, guys." And going in, and again, this is something that is, as long as it's communicated very well, is a good thing to do. And that very clearly was communicated. No one from the blue team was trying to follow up. Was just the Corki going in. And the Heimerdinger turret being used to make sure there's no damage onto that tower. Ooh, but
yeah, it was a Rakan. What is this?
Very bold there. Not sure what the purpose was, but they have trapped Reverie in the cage, but here comes the package! And the blue team is doing so much damage. Kha'Zix's doing absolutely everything she can, but the blue team just have the health bars, and it's only the Nidalee left alive. What a package!
What a package. I feel like every time we praise a player, they end up messing up in the next fight. Not sure why the Ezreal thought it would be a good idea to Arcane Shift into the Amumu ult, but that's what happened. Blue team won the fight off the back of that. I think it would have been a different outcome if Ezreal did not do that. But blue team, they're going to pick up the tier 1 turret.
That they are. They will push in and get a little bit of damage to the tier 2. Surprised they're not going for resets. Though, of course, we don't know exactly their gold totals. Probably just not quite ready.
Yeah.
Now, the Kha'Zix has 2 completed lethality items plus a Dirk. Do we think he's ahead of the pace enough to still be a threat, or is he already beginning to fall off?
I think at this moment, he still has enough of a threat that you have to respect it. It's not going to be enough to change the outcome of a major fight, but definitely can, assist him in sort of cleaning up the back of those fights. It's not going to be doing all that much damage to sway the outcome of it, but if they're winning, he can definitely do some. He can definitely help. How do I put this? Enforce
tip the scales.
Enforce the advantage.
Yeah, he can. I think you're right. He's not going to be the main factor that tips it over to the red side, but he can definitely put a little bit of a foot on the scales to make it more likely to fall their way. He has, of course, also evolved the wings. Actually, very interesting evolution, but it also makes sense. He hasn't evolved the claws, something on Summoner's Rift that we would always see. He's actually gone wings and spike racks to give him a bit more poke, and also the ability to jump out after doing his initial burst of damage and hopefully getting a kill.
Or continuing to jump in and clean up the back of that fight like we were talking about before.
Yep. Very,
but
very
yeah,
true.
right now until that fight happens, he's honestly just resigned to poke duty with the spikes in the bushes. Doing some respectable chip damage, especially with the low cooldowns, but Rakan's going in once again.
Yep, did get exhausted up and got out. Rakan, very sneaky. Oh, the big ult! That's a free kill onto the Quinn. Can they get the second one onto the Amumu? No, they can't quite. The Nami wave was very good. But it's a free kill here. This Quinn, it's been a rough one for her. Hasn't really gotten much done.
Yeah, Quinn's an AD carry, but it's more of a assassin AD carry. Not really gonna do all that well in a front-to-back team fight, especially against the likes of.
Oh, Nidalee flying forward. Sorry to cut you off, but we had to shout that one out as the absolute massive dive forward. Rakan goes down in response, but so does the tower, and the red team resurging, coming forward, doing a lot of damage. But here comes Quinn. Nope, doesn't go for it. Fair enough. No need to go for the unsafe play.
I think could have gone for that. The health bars were low enough that and the Quinn could probably have burst someone down. Not sure if Nidalee would have been that target, but yeah, just playing safe for now.
Yeah, for sure, which makes a lot of sense. The worst case scenario there is you kill someone off, which just gives them a reset, and then you die, even though you just died. It's not great.
That is fair. You did point out the fact that I believe. Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of something else. My bad.
Okay.
Thoughts are all over the place at the moment. Not sure what's going on.
It's all right, man. We're getting our mind blown by how action-packed these ARAMs have been and how much fun they've been. We can't handle it.
So many points. Can't organize them in my head. That's what's going on. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just there's too much to talk about and not enough time. Because, I mean, look, normally someone casting with me struggles enough to get in, but there's that many team fights that it's even harder. So you're doing well.
All right.
But it has come to a bit more of a lull. We're back to ping-ponging waves. Oh, and as I say it, there's an engage. Rakan trying to get out, and the Corki package is used. That's very, very deep. Can he get away? No, he will get taken down by Karzik, but that should be the only casualty for the blue team, as they are absolutely ripping this fight to shreds. Huma, you can kite all you want, but there's not that much you can do about this Quinn doing a 500 damage crit. Crit.
Right.
And taking the double. This will be the in him, and the blue team with an absolutely massive win.
Yep. One issue that we failed to point out in Champion Select is I believe they did not have enough tanky stats on the side of Red, as opposed to a Mumu, which, like we said, is gonna build tank. Is gonna be a big frontliner when it comes to these late game team fights, and we're really seeing the difference count right now as the left fight's gonna go on.
Yeah, this is just a bit more of a clean-up fight. They got the in him, they got a Nexus Tower. Now the blue team is just resetting. Heimerdinger will survive, but he'll be one of the only ones. But there's
not
there's
exactly
no
sure
if
not sure if surviving here for the Heimerdinger is the best play. Yeah, like the point I was trying to bring across right there was in these upcoming fights, it's really difficult for Red Team to play around the Amumu, because Amumu has been doing so very well in being a disruptor for the blue team. And if the Amumu is going to continue doing so, it's just going to be so much more difficult for Red to have an appropriate answer. And so far, we haven't seen them be able to do so.
Absolutely, and we did finally see the Quinn shine. Once the health bars are low, Quinn can go forward and just do enough to finish things off. Amumu is in the middle of the enemy team. The blue side do not want to let up for even a moment. And yeah, as you said, he's just too tanky. He's just walking at them.
Damage.
He's taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. He just sponges it up like absolutely no one's business. And it's a 3-for-2 in the favor of the blue side. Valor has been called in, not dealing any damage, just getting the speed. As the arcane shift is pretty good.
I want to check the damage stats, like damage taken and self-mitigated damage, at the end of the game, because it's a Mumu, is gonna be basically like 50% of his team.
Yep.
He's just menacingly walking at red team, and red team simply do not have an answer, especially with the Ezreal, which really doesn't do very
He's
well
just
against
walking
tanks.
at us. Menacingly! That's
And
basically the story of this game.
Yeah, I take back what I said about the Quinn. Actually doing very, very well now that we have approached Sora. The mid-game state is definitely going to be very good against the squishier members of the red team. Honestly, I thought Nidalee and Yorick would be much more tankier than they currently are showing to be. And that just means that the assassin Quinn is much more has a much more easier time going in onto the red team, dealing a ton of damage.
For sure. These Heimerdinger towers, as well as the grenade and rockets in the fights, are doing a great amount of zoning as well. It's really hard for the red team to navigate these fights. We see these massive Rakan ults to start us off.
Rakan has been a little bit too overeager, in my opinion.
A little bit.
Jumping in and not communicating the intentions to the rest of the team when she's going in. And I think that's just a little unfortunate, because if they were able to coordinate these engages much better earlier on in the game, rather, I think they would have found much more favorable outcomes in the early fights, which would have been, which would have made it easier for them to hold the line right now.
For sure, but the point I was more getting at is that these Rakan ults have been hitting multiple members of the blue team, but they can't navigate around all of the spread damage that the blue team puts out. So the Rakan ult just kind of wears off. And part of that is that they're not all pulling the trigger at the same time. Oh, Corki goes in, leaves that trail. There's the wave. A lot of damage. The Amumu ult was great as well. Can the red team fight back, or will we be seeing the end of the red team? I think we will, and I think this might be our final victors today. The blue side. I think that's the first one we've had where the blue team wins. Yep. And they will take our final game.
The best part about this is that the only strategy that they had to employ was the Mumu walking at the enemy. That is the biggest factor in their win right now. No amount of outplay or whatever that red team could throw at blue team could stop the menacing walking Amumu. And now we know why Amumu is the 4th or 5th highest win rate champion.
Absolutely. He walked at them and they were right to be worried about him doing it. That was a really fun day of games. I love this. These ARAMs are so much fun.
Thoughts got a bit messed up in the final game, but overall pretty happy with what we've seen so far. If you were to compare this to the Singaporean sort of level of play, it's not going to be a fair comparison, but what do you think?
I mean, I honestly think the level of play was pretty similar.
Right.
I think we had some very, very good players. I think we had some players that made some mistakes, but you never know if they're playing a champion that they've never really played before. Yeah. I don't think it's fair to analyze it too closely. I think it was great. I had a lot of fun, and that's the important part. I think everyone involved had fun. Now, of course, we would like to thank Dreamcore, Super Solid, and Yahoo for sponsoring us today. That's very, very appreciated. You've seen their ads running. Definitely go check out all of their products. They're really good. But other than that, I think we are done for today.
Yes, we will be back next week, same time? I believe, no, 1 hour earlier.
Okay.
Was it for Thailand? I think, yeah. But basically next week, Saturday, stay tuned, stay with FSL.
Absolutely. And thanks again to FSL for having me and Spoods. We love being here. We'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.